let's take a look at the homework here for chapter 6. Did any of you do any of the transliteration homework? Nope. You didn't volunteer to do that? Quite all right. Quite all right with me. Okay, so we want to do some translating. In part B, it was translate these English expressions into Hebrew. The basic idea is to find the noun, like the word ish, write down that noun in Hebrew, and then prefix the article hey to it in the appropriate way. Are there any questions about the problems here in 1 through 18? Anything you want me to do with you? Yes.
Can you explain why like 7, 9, and 10 are starting the way they are with the
Yeah. So let's do 7 here real quickly. I'm going to make some space over here on the left. So with number 7, we have the God, right? So I want to start with Elohim. How do I write Elohim? Aleph with the katef sigil, right? Lamed, Holam, Hey, Kirik Yod, Mem. So Elohim. Now I just need to add the in front, which is Hey. What should I always expect to write? Hey, Pathak, doubling dot. And that should stay unless something makes it go away. Is there something that would make the Dagesh Forte go away? Yes. What's the problem here? Yes. Aleph is a guttural, and gutturals don't take no Dagesh Forte from anyone. And the next question then is, which of the alternate forms of the article do we have? So basically it's Hey Pathak doubling dot, Hey Pathak no doubling dot, Hey Kametz no doubling dot, or Hey Sigol no doubling dot. Okay, those are my 4 possibilities. We know the doubling dot's gone. Based on the lesson, if the Aleph rejects the doubling dot, what usually happens to the preceding Pathak? It will compensatorily lengthen, so the short A becomes a long A. Now, if you stopped there, you would be perfectly good, and I would not count you off for anything. But, Kayla, you noticed that there is a little meth egg here, didn't you? Okay? Why is there a meth egg in my answer key here? Where do meth eggs usually happen? Before a compound shava. We often see meth eggs in the vowel before a compound shava. Okay? Now, do you need that meth egg to know that that's a long A? You didn't. The only time you need the meth egg is if you have a word that has a simple shava and the kamet symbol. The meth egg's presence or absence is required to know whether that's a kametz or a kametz ketuf. I don't have that. I have the kamet symbol and a compound shava, not a normal shava. Okay? So you can figure this out very easily. Well, there's 2 ways you know. One is that you know you're trying to put a pathak here and it lengthens, so it's already an A vowel, right? But if you didn't know that, if like you just stumbled across this word and you saw the kametz, you'd know it's not a kametz ketuf because it's not in what kind of a syllable? It's not in a kus syllable. It's not in a closed, unaccented syllable. So it couldn't be a kametz ketuf anyway. You'd know it's a kametz. It's a long A. Okay? So I put the meth egg there just because you usually see them before a compound shava, but if you didn't, that's really not a big deal. It's not a big problem. Okay?
These rules are important to know.
Yes? Yes? So let's look at number 8 here. Number 8 is the word the wisdom. So what's the word for wisdom? Chokmah. That is a situation, by the way, where the meth egg's presence or absence is important, isn't it? Without that meth egg, what does that tell you about this vowel? It is an O. It's a short O. It's a kametz ketuf. So ma. Chokmah. Say that with me. Chokmah. So how do I say the wisdom? Well, add a hey, pathak, doubling dot. Can I leave that doubling dot there? No, not at all. We're going to reject the dagesh forte. And then chet is one of those gutturals where when we reject the dagesh forte, do we do anything with the preceding short a vowel? No, we leave it be. It is a virtually doubled chet. And so when I mention virtual doubling, what I'm saying is that this chet is being treated as if it were doubled, but you can't put a dagesh forte there because they don't allow that. If I were to ask you to divide this into syllables, then you're going to grab the non-existent dot because the chet is being sounded as if it were doubled. It's ha-chokmah, ha-chokmah. And that's why this short vowel is here, because this is being treated as if it were a kas syllable. The chet is virtually doubled. The doubling is implied. Implied meaning you can't put the doubling dot there, but we're going to act like it is. Okay? And short vowels are necessary. That's why you don't compensatorily lengthen these. So that's how we would do that. All right. And then with number 9, we have the woman. What's the word for woman again? Isha. Don't forget there's a dagesh forte in the shin there. And if you want to say the woman, you add what in front? Ha, with a pathak and a doubling dot. Yes? Can I put a doubling dot there? No, it's a guttural. Reject the dagesh forte. Does ayin cause anything to happen to the preceding pathak under the hay? I'm sorry, aleph, not ayin. Yes, it compensatorily lengthens. So ha-isha, ha-isha. Now, there's a metheg in this one, isn't there? Okay, why is there? This is the other place where methegs can happen, where you don't need it to know that's a long A. Why did the Masoretes put that there? Where's how many syllables is this word? Ha-isha. There's 3. There's 3 syllables here. Ha-isha. Ha-isha. Where's the accent? It's on the ending. It's on the sha part. Ish is so this is tonic over here at the end. Ish is the pretonic. Ha is the proprotonic. And open proprotonic syllables in Hebrew have a tendency to reduce to a vocal shava. And this metheg is here to tell you, the reader, not to reduce that vowel. Don't hurry over it to get to the stress at the end that you reduce the vowel. Make it indistinct. All right? Sort of like this word in English. How do you say that? Say it again. Say it loud so I can hear it. I didn't hear any of you pronounce that as an O. Anybody say community? Community? No, that's an sound, isn't it? You are guilty of reducing that vowel to nothingness. Shame on you. You've made it indistinct. Did you notice that the I is in your pronunciation really isn't very clearly an I either? It actually sounds like the O of the first syllable. Say it again, and try not to prejudice yourself. Community. Yeah, community. Community. Notice that they're both shava sounds in English. Community. Community. The stress is on the U, so that's going to be fully pronounced. And then I would say that there's a secondary stress there on community. So anyhow, there you go. So same sort of issue here. So that's why there's a metheg there. Now again, if you didn't put a metheg here, I wouldn't count you off for it because the metheg is not needful to know whether that's a long A or a short O. It's there for the other reasons that a metheg is there. Oh, okay, number 14 was an example of that. Did you guys, on number 14, did you have ha, or he? What did the rest of you do? What do you have for number 14? He? Okay. So this is cities, it's plural. What's the singular of city? It's ear. Ayin, kirik, yod, resh is singular, but the plural is slightly different. It's reem. It's got a kametz. Reem. Okay? So I want to make this the cities. I would normally want to go hey, pathak, doubling dot, but ayin is a guttural. Gutturals reject the dagish forte. And now I've got to ask myself, when I have an ayin here, what usually happens to the preceding short vowel with ayins, aleph, and resh? Usually you lengthen, but there are some circumstances where something slightly different happens. This is one of those. If I have an ayin with a kametz under it, then we're going to get not a pathak or a kametz, but a sigol. So it becomes he-arim. And again, because I'm 3 syllables out, right? This is tonic, pretonic, proprotonic, then I will often see a metheg in that open proprotonic syllable to tell you not to reduce it. Now, this segol followed by the kametz is actually a fairly common pattern in Hebrew. So you'll notice that the places where you see the segol under the hey, it's usually where you've got gutturals with a kametz symbol under that. Is a common vowel pattern or vowel sequence in Hebrew. So let's just remind ourselves what page you saw that on. That is on page 65, and it's section 4. Okay? So page 65, section 4. You notice that all of those forms that have the he before it, the first letter has one of those kametz symbols under it. Okay? Number 3. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's uncertain as to why that vowel lengthens. So all you're really going to need to be able to do in the exercise, so the normal form is gone with a short A. For your purposes for the exercise, you put the hey pathak doubling dot here, and this lengthens for some unknown reason. This is the only time you'll ever have to create this fresh out of thin air. Otherwise, you're just going to see this in your exercises or in the Hebrew Bible. If you saw this, would you know that that's the article and this is the word for garden? Yes, that's all you really need to know. Okay. In other words, I don't really require you to know why that happened. Just be aware that it happens. You've been forewarned. So when you see that and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, when I look this up in the dictionary, it's spelled with a short A here, then you'll remember, oh yeah, that's right. There was that weird word that lengthened for some unknown reason. Okay?
So how often are we going to need to know how to translate from English into Hebrew?
I don't have you do that a lot. I do have you do that some. There are some profs that really require a lot of that. If I had more time, like if this were a 6-hour course instead of a 3-hour course, I would do more of that and have a lot more speaking exercises and things, but we just don't have time to. So we're going to, most of our translation work will be from Hebrew into English then. Okay, let's take a look at the C section here and see if there's any questions that you have on that. Anybody have a question about 1 through 5? Let's look at number 1 first of all. Why don't you say this with me? Repeat after me. Yashav ha'am ba'aretz. Okay, do I have a verb in this clause? Yes. Where's the verb? It's first, isn't it? Is that unusual in Hebrew? Nope. Very common. Do I have a subject overtly stated here? Yes. Where is it? Second word. That's right. So in my English translation, I need to invert these because in English, we don't put verb first and then subject unless we want to sound weird or cheesy. Love we Hebrew. Okay, so how are we going to translate this? Ha'am yashav is what? The people dwelled. Good. And where? Ba'aretz? In, okay, is it in a land or in the land? The, how do you know? There's no article here. Okay. So are you telling me that there's an article that's been swallowed up? The hay is missing? You're right. So it should have been ha'aretz, right? What still remains from ha'aretz? The vowel. That's right. If this were in a land, how would we see this? What would be under the bet than a land? Just a normal shiva, because the article or the inseparable prepositions are normally pointed with a vocal shiva. And what would be under the aleph here? What's the basic form of the word for land? Is it normally aretz? It's eretz. So it would normally be double segel. Why does it have a kametz here? Because when you add the article to eretz, it becomes ha'aretz. So eretz by itself, ha'aretz, add the bet preposition to ha'aretz, and I get ba'aretz. So there's a couple of things to tell you that this is the definite form of land. And that's why you're right. You do have to translate this as in the land. All right, very good. Now look at number 2. Have I any verbs in this string of clauses? No. And that means I'm going to have to supply is or are. Me Tarzan, you Jane. So say this with me. Hanashim po. Ha'anashim bagan. Good. So translate that first part. The women po. The women here, meaning the women are here. Ha'anashim. The men, bagan, in the garden? Are we sure it's the garden? Yeah, there's no hay here. But I have a pathak, don't I? And I have, what's in the gimel here? That's right. Where did that dagesh forte and that pathak come from? The article. What would it look like if it were in a garden? Bagan. You see the difference between bagan and bagan? See that? So in a garden, bagan, bagan, in the garden. All right, great. Now, we haven't really talked much about this, but the accent mark right here there's two accent marks that are visible. What was this accent at mark, Carl, at the end of the verse or at the end of a sentence? It's a saluk. Everybody say that, saluk. And a saluk looks just like another mark. The metheg, right? Remember the metheg and the saluk look the same. Is the metheg an accent mark? Nope, because it's always next to a vowel that is before the stressed syllable. Saluk is an accent mark. It's marking the stress. So where's the stress on this word? It's on the end because the saluk is there. Bagan. Bagan. Now, the other accent mark that we see here is right here. What is that called? This is called athnach. Athnach. Yeah, you remember the Aflac commercial? Aflac. Athnach. Okay, so an athnach is one of the newer accent marks. I think it was the last chapter maybe that Ross introduced you to it. I want to just make a comment about these two accent marks. These are described in Hebrew as disjunctive accent marks. If something is disjunctive, what is it doing? Or let me ask it this way. What is a junction? If you're ever driving and you see the sign that says junction up ahead, what does that mean? Yeah, two roads are coming together. Okay, so a junction is a joining of two things. Okay, so disjunctive means separating. So these accents are disjunctive in that wherever the accents occur, the word in which they occur is being disjoined from what follows. So when I see the saluk, it basically is saying, hold that syllable, long pause, and whatever that's on is to be read with what goes before. It's separated from what comes after. Now, this verse divider also helps you. But in the middle of a verse, you're going to see a secondary disjunctive accent. The saluk is the strongest disjunctive accent, and it creates the biggest break because we're breaking one verse from another. But the middle of a verse, there will be another disjunctive accent mark that will break one half of the verse from the other half. And again, because it's the disjunctive, whatever this athnach is on is to be read more closely with what precedes, and then the next word will be read with what follows. Okay? So notice that po goes with ha-nashim. The women are here, pause. The men are in the garden. Okay? You wouldn't want to try to read po with ha-anashim. It's not the women, here are the men. Okay? It's the women here. Pause, the men in the garden. Big pause, number 3. Okay? So these are the two most common accent marks you're going to see, and they're disjunctive. And as we mentioned the other day, when you have these disjunctive accents, it will cause you to pause on that syllable a little bit longer than you normally would on any other syllable at any other place. And sometimes that can cause your vowel to lengthen. That this is what's called pausal lengthening. With these disjunctive accent marks that are strong disjunctive accent marks, there's a heavy pause there, and it can cause the vowel, if it's short, to lengthen and become long. Okay, we saw Melech did that. Melech became Malek in a few places because of the saluk. Okay, good. Anybody have any other questions? Anything come up in your going through the homework at all? All right. Let's look at number 5 real quickly. We have, say this with me, Shalom Ba'ir, Ki Elohim Sham. Okay, so here I have no verb between Shalom Ba'ir, so I might want to supply which word? Is. So peace is in The or a city? Okay, what is my pointing here? That's a kametz, isn't it? If it were in a city, it would be b with a vocal shiva. Okay? So you're right. This is peace is in the city. Ki, because. Why would you not want to translate the ki as that? It wouldn't make any sense, would it? Peace is in the city that God is there? No. If I had a verb of speaking, I said, Ki Elohim Sham, then I would want to translate it as that. Or I hear, Ki Elohim Sham, but not with this type of a sentence. So Elohim Sham is God is there. Me, Tarzan, you, Jane, God there. Okay? So we're adding the copula is in both of these. All right, very good. Well, we'll stop the homework review with that. Oh, were there any questions about the syllable divisions? I asked you to divide syllables up and look for and label things. Are we all expert labelers and whatnot? We are right now. Okay. There's a reason why I have you continue to do this, is so that you don't forget it. But if you come across things that you really aren't sure about, by all means, we need to think about those. Well, it was number 3, right? The words in number 3. Let me just real quickly walk through this last word, lagibor. Okay. By the way, do any of you know the famous actress named Zsa Zsa Gabor? Yeah. She was in this show called Green Acres. And she always talked like this. Oh, darling. Oh, you're so lovely, darling. And she was a little beauty. Okay, so Lagibor. Tell me about the dots. This gimel has what kind of a dot? Dagesh forte. The bet has a... Now, these are both Begat fat letters, aren't they? Shouldn't you tell me that these are Dagesh lenes then? Why not? Because vowels precede both. Dot's still there, so they must be strong dots, huh? Okay, good. How would we divide the syllable? How many vowels do I have here? I have, how many vowels? 3? Okay, so I should have 3 syllables. And how many dividing lines will that take to make this into 3 parts? Just 2. So what am I going to do? I've got a Dagesh forte. I know I can grab that. And then there's a Dagesh forte, so I can come down and grab that. Are these open or closed when they're to the right of a Dagesh forte? Closed. What about this one? This is closed. What about this one? It's also closed because it ends with a consonant. Very good. So log, gib, bor. Log, gib, bor. All right. Where is the tone? Final syllable. And here that's explicitly marked with that siluk accent mark, right? So tonic, the syllable is pretonic, the syllable is proprotonic. Very good. If that's closed to proprotonic, that means it's closed and unaccented. Which rule does it follow? Cuss rule. And does this meet my cuss rule requirements? It does. Pathak is short. Is this closed and unaccented? Yes, it's not tonic, so it's unaccented and closed. It's got to follow the cuss rule. Is Keurig short? It is. It is. Good. Hey, does this have to follow the cuss rule? No. Heck no. So that's why that's not a short vowel. Okay? There you go. Excellent. Good work.